John Parker Wilson, former quarterback at the University of Alabama. John Parker, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome into the game in T-Town.
I am having a fantastic day, even though it's been a little rainy the past couple of days. It's still nice to celebrate. Still celebrate. You know, the 24-hour rules for the players. We can go a little bit longer, right?
No, sure we can. Yeah, absolutely. And we are celebrating. Don't tell Coach Saban. We haven't – the Citadel hasn't grabbed our attention like it should.
Well, you know, and right, it's the Citadel. But, you know, I tell you what, they still play a different offense than we're not used to. So we've seen these triple option type teams in the past, and it is new just because you've got to completely change your game plan on defense, something you haven't practiced probably since training camp, and then try to get ready for this after a big win against LSU, after a big win against Mississippi State. So it is the next game on the schedule, but I really like where these guys on the team are, their mindset. I feel like the attitude that they brought against Mississippi State was tremendous, and you just got to keep that going for the next week.
John Parker, let's go back to Mississippi State just for a couple of minutes. I'm catching myself saying this, but I feel like I got to say it anyway. I'm saying what went wrong for us, but we still won the game, right? 24-0. But it's that standard that we've all created here. If we don't score 54 points, then we kind of look at it as a disappointment. Your overall thoughts about Mississippi State game?
Well, I think they've got one of the better defenses in the entire country. And after playing against LSU, it's tough to think that they could be topped. But I really think Mississippi State was as good, if not better, on defense. I mean, they've got two of the best defensive linemen in the country. Willie Gay, the linebacker, had a tremendous game, and their secondary was covering us tight the whole night, and really did something that Alabama hadn't seen all year, and that was get pressure. Mississippi State's defense ended up with 4 sacks on the night, so that was almost the total for the year. Alabama came into the game only giving up 6 sacks, so something different and something that Alabama's got to look at. So you try to build on that and still able to score 24 points. But I think that was the game plan. As the game got going and we recognized that Mississippi State wasn't going to throw the ball, they stuck to their game plan right until the end of the fourth quarter. So we just matched that, and 24-0 against a big team, we'll take it. I mean, back-to-back shutouts from this defense is impressive. I don't care who you're playing, especially back-to-back against SEC opponents. So I think this team is continuing to get better, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then now on offense, you got to deal with the defense has been dealing with for the past couple of years, and that's the injury bug. So try to work through that. Hopefully people aren't too injured, and this is a good game to come out if you're on offense and get that efficiency back that we've seen Alabama be so good at the first part of the season.
And you look for Alabama to try to get back to some of the basics as far as offense, or maybe get back in rhythm? Or do you think this will be a very vanilla, or do you think they'll just kind of go with their own plan saying, hey, it's Citadel, but we got to get back to what we do?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. You run your game plan. You don't change who you are because of your opponent. You go out, and as Coach Saban says all the time, you got to try to go out and impose your will on the other team. We're going to run our stuff. We just got to run it better than them, and we should. And we've been doing that all year. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. So this is the next game on the schedule. You got to come out. You got to get ready to play. Doesn't matter that it's been a bad week and for the weather. You just got to get the practice in right during the week and then get ready to play on Saturday. And I know that Coach Saban's stressing that you can't just show up on Saturday. You got to do your job during the week, and then Saturday is just a byproduct of your work that you've done Monday through Friday.
John Parker, as someone who's been in that locker room with Nick Saban, you guys probably laugh at us from time to time. Today we've been throwing out comments, should Tua Tagovailoa play? Should he maybe get some rest for that knee and let that thing continue to heal up and be ready to go for Auburn? I know the people that have been inside the locker room probably giggle and laugh at all these comments about should we rest Tua, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, because I'm sure you guys do the way you guys are processed.
Well, look, I think there's tremendous trust from the medical staff that we have, from Jeff Allen and Dr. Kane, Dr. Andrews, and those guys, and from not only the coaches but the players. I mean, the players buy in not only on the game plan and not only on the nutrition and everything else, but these medical staff have proven to be some of the best in the world. So if they think that the player's good enough and healthy enough to go out, then there's nobody really better else to make that judgment call than those guys. And they've got such a good relationship with the Coach Saban and the rest of the staff. So they're not going to send out anybody that has a chance to get hurt worse. And then they're going to work hard this week to get ready for Saturday. And if any player can go, no matter what position it is, they'll go. And if they can't and say, hey, this guy needs a couple more weeks of rest, then they'll give him rest. But that's part of the process, right? It's not just calling plays on Saturday. It's not just working out during the week in March. It's having a good, complete staff, and that's exactly what Alabama does.
But, John Parker, be honest with me a little bit as far as a player. I know you were not allowed to never say this because Nick Saban would not allow anybody to say this inside that locker room. But looking back, is it harder to get up for these smaller games than it was the typical, Mississippi State, LSU? Obviously, we don't even count Auburn. Everybody will be up for that game. But is it difficult to get up for a team like this?
Yeah, I think it's just human nature, though, right? After playing and being in the best conference in the land and playing in the best division in the land, and obviously I'm a little biased there. And then you got an FCS opponent coming in. It's human nature to let it down. I mean, we did it when I was playing against Louisiana Monroe. I mean, there's no way that they should have beat us, but if you don't do what you're supposed to do all week, then you get beat. And, I mean, we've seen in the past, we've seen Appalachian State come in and beat Michigan in their home place, and, Ohio State seems to do it every now and then. So it has happened. It wouldn't be the first time if Citadel beat Alabama that this would be an upset like this. And that's what, makes college football so fun. And I know Coach Saban is coaching just as hard, if not harder, this week than he does every other week.
Your evaluation of the offensive line's performance on Saturday?
I think they were going against a really good defensive line. Deontay Brown went down, but it was a little more pressure than we've seen, and I think anybody would say that. So I haven't had a chance to go back and watch the tape yet. I'll usually do that on Thursday and Friday, but it was uncharacteristic this year of getting that much pressure in the backfield all day. And I think during the game, it affected Tua, right? It affects any quarterback when you're having to throw the ball faster than you want to. So tremendous learning opportunities, though, because little adversity for the first time this season, this week against Mississippi State, a little bit against LSU last week. So it's sometimes nice to have these things to go back on tape and to learn from it. And I know that that's what the guys are doing this week, is saying, okay, here's what happened. Let's not ever let this happen again. You learn sometimes more from your mistakes than you do your successes, and I don't think this week is any different.
John Parker, when you look at Quentin Williams, I feel like I ask you about this every single week, but every single week, I mean, I look at the leading tacklers for the team, and here he is again. I mean, he's leading the team week by week in domination. You don't expect that from your nose guard. Sometimes you want those guys to occupy blocks and keep the linebackers free where they can make plays. He's doing both. He's occupying blocks, he's blowing them up, and he's getting in the backfield and creating a lot of headaches there for the quarterback and the skill guys.
It's unbelievable. It's so fun. It's been so fun watching him. And, led the team this week again with 6 tackles, 4 solo tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. I mean, this is a stat line for him. Every week is up there near the top of the team. And now he's doing it. What LSU and both Mississippi State have tried to do is saying, okay, we can't let this guy beat us. We got to help out with running back. We got to help out with another offensive lineman. But he just keeps splitting them. And he's bigger than – he seems to be stronger than the guys that are going against him. He's super quick. He uses his hands extremely well, and I think he really understands the concept of what the offense is trying to do to him, and just the motor running for him. That's what you want to see from any defensive lineman. But he's out there. He doesn't come out of the game. He's just relentless in his pursuit of the quarterback and the running back, and then it rubs off on the rest of the team. I think for the 3rd straight week against Mississippi State, Bama had double digits in tackles for loss. And that's, when Mississippi State only runs 55 plays and 10 of them negative, that's tough to come back from.
We're talking to John Parker Wilson as we begin to wrap up. Go outside of Alabama. Anything in college football that grabbed you this past weekend, anything. You can go anywhere you want to go SEC, outside of the league? You can go anywhere you want to go. What's outside of Alabama grabbed John Parker Wilson?
Tell you what, now my responsibilities on game day are pretty much all inclusive of Alabama, which I love. So I'm flipping through it right here. I tell you what, Tennessee knocking off of the 11th ranked Kentucky Wildcats. I think that's a pretty big story. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt playing a bunch of young guys, rebuilding from previous coaching staffs, and to get some momentum like they did, to go upset. And Kentucky's had some serious momentum this year. You know, this was kind of their Cinderella season for the football team. They're used to seeing in the basketball team, but that's a pretty big upset. Hey, he's at 5-5 now at Tennessee. He's got a chance to get bowl eligible. So I look at the top 25. That's a pretty big storyline.
And we're talking about a team that didn't win a conference game last year, and now they've got 2, and they've got a chance to win a couple of more and to get to bowl eligible. Certainly, Jeremy Pruitt's been able to do a solid job. Let's talk about Tuscaloosa. Toyota. Those guys are always winning on Skyline Boulevard. Talk more about Scott Peoples and Tuscaloosa Toyota.
Yep, I urge you to go check out the website, because that's usually what we do first and foremost before we make any purchase now, right? And I'm just like anybody else. I want to go see what they have, what the inventory is, what the interest rates are going to be on a loan, and most of them are at 0% right now. So full inventory of any car that you could think, new and used. They've got the 3-day return policy where if you don't like it, you can bring it back in 3 days. They've got the sales guys who aren't getting commission based on the price of the sale. They're just trying to put you in the best car. And then my favorite is one price at one place. You know, you don't have to go shopping in Birmingham or Huntsville or wherever else. You can go to Tuscaloosa and you know you're going to get the best price without having to drive all around the state. So check them out down on Skyline Boulevard at tuscaloosa.youtube.com.
2018 Camry Ellie, $18,888. 2018 Camry Ellie Edition, $18,888. Something that we're promoting quite a bit at Tuscaloosa Toyota. John Parker, have a great week, and I'll see you for breakfast inside Bryant Denny Stadium on Saturday morning. Thank you, sir.
Can't wait, man. Roll Tide.